Hi everyone, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Aphasia in Malaysia. So today we're going to have our online webinar again, but today we are at a very special timing. Normally we do it at night because today we have a very special guest. We have Miss Afika with us today. Hi Miss Afika, hello.
Hi, hi Raman, hi everyone.
Yeah, and also because we are going to share with you a very special topic, financial challenges in aphasia rehabilitation. So before we start the session, we're going to wait for more audience to join us. Yeah. So while waiting, let me brief you a little bit about aphasia in Malaysia. So if you are the first time to come across our Facebook page, so aphasia in Malaysia is a platform to increase the public awareness and also their knowledge about aphasia. So what is aphasia? Aphasia is a type of communication disorders or a language disorders that follow some forms of damage to the brain. Like for example, like stroke or head injury because of the car accident or the fall, or even brain tumor or even dementia. So this aphasia not only affects one's understanding of speech and also their verbal expression, sometimes it can also affect their reading and writing also. So, but the good news is that it doesn't affect one's intelligence. So, meaning the person is still the person. It's just that they can't package their feelings, their opinions in the verbal language form like we all do. It's just like when you go traveling to a country that you don't know their language, I think, right? So, what are you going to do to communicate with the local people? So you will communicate by using your body language or your facial expression, things like that, right? Okay, I think we have some audience with us right now. So again, we are so happy to have Miss Afika with us. We're going to share financial challenges in aphasia rehabilitation. So Miss Afika is a speech and language therapist from Perkeso Rehabilitation Department. So welcome, Miss Afika.
Thank you,
Hello, Miss Afika.
Raman. Thank you
So
for the
now,
invitation.
yeah. So I think when we talk about financial challenges, right, I think it's quite a very sensitive topic, right? Because we talk about
Yeah,
money.
yes. When we talk about money, it's very sensitive to a lot of people, even for me.
Yeah, and also it's quite heavy to some of the people. But in another way, it is something very quite common thing that we need to face it and we need to manage it every day, right?
Yeah.
And especially if let's say your speech therapy tell you that okay you have aphasia, and most of the time they don't want you to miss out your golden period of your recovery. Then you will be asked to have intensive therapy, right? Most of the time, so intensive therapy meaning as ideally as probably daily basis, or sometimes if let's say you can't make it daily, probably at least 2 to 3 times a week. But the problem is where is the money, right? If let's
Yeah.
say, yeah, we don't earn a lot, but where's the money? So here to today, we are so happy to have Miss Afika to share this very useful topic with all our audience here, how Pakeso can support their rehabilitation journey, as best as they can. So Miss Afika, so if are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
So if you're
Let's
ready, so
start.
I leave the stage to you. So I will share your slide now.
Thank you, Raymond. Okay, so let me start with some introduction about myself. So as Raymond said, my name is Afika Ilya binti Kamarudin. I'm a speech therapist from Pusat Rehabilitasi Perkeso. So I'm sure some of you have heard about Pusat Rehabilitasi Perkeso before this, and some are still quite a new word and also a new things, but we have already operated since 2014, and also this will be our seventh year. Okay, so when we talk about financial challenges in aphasia rehabilitations, so I'm sure, as Raymond said, that when we talk about rehabilitation services and we for patient with aphasia, they need intensive rehabilitations, and that will incur some cost. So I'm sure if the people with aphasia is the breadwinner, so probably they will have like a quite quite a headache to think about, or where to use the money, where to get the money in order to have that rehabilitation. So good news for social contributor. So that's why we open this pusat rehabilitasi Pekeso, but we're trying to reach more people, not just for social contributors, but also for non-contributors. Okay, so I will start my slide, but I will share it. Maybe I will use both Malay and English for clearer explanations. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so when we talk about Pekeso, so most of us are quite familiar with the name Pekeso. So what is Pekeso? So Pekeso is actually Pertubuhan Keselamatan Sosial, and some people will also familiar with the word SOCSO, which is the Social Security Organization. So what are the difference? No different at all. So actually Pekeso and SOCSO are both under the same umbrella. So we are both trying to target the contributors, so social security organisation. Okay, so Perkeso is actually being ditubuhkan on January 1971, so which is to mentadbir and menguatkuasakan Akta Keselamatan Sosial Pekerja 1969, and then we also have Akta Keselamatan Sosial Pekerjaan sendiri. This is quite recent, 2017. And also the latest is under sistem insurans pekerjaan. So as you can see, this is all the I don't cover very details of it, but then I try to cover as general, and also to give some rough idea, and also surface about the scheme that we have lah. Okay, so these are all the akta that we have that will cover all the pekerja. Okay, so Pekeso have the objective untuk menyediakan perlindungan keselamatan sosial kepada semua pekerja dan tanggungan mereka, which is the family members. So menerusi our schemes, that is the insurans keselamatan sosial, so berasaskan konsep masyarakat penyayang selaras dengan dasar pembangunan negara and also wawasan 2020, dengan untuk menjadikan Malaysia sebuah negara maju menjelang tahun 2020. Tapi kita dah over 2022 already, right? Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
objective of it. So the mission is actually to give the coverage to all the workers and also their tanggungan lah. Okay, so that's why they have all the schemes under the Pekeso, and whichever applied, so then we can give the benefits to the workers and also their family members. Okay, so what are the jenis perusahaan yang kita cover? Pekeso cover. So kita cover semua, from perusahaan kecil, sederhana ataupun besar. So example is actually the perusahaan contoh perkilangan, okay, and then perkhidmatan services like speech therapy, physiotherapies, or maybe services like food services, F&B, okay, and then pendidikan lah, from school and also university, private center lah. Okay, so semua orang akan tahu kalau you dah macam mana nak mencarum kan, mesti nak tahu kelayakan dulu. Okay, so semua pekerja yang bertaraf warga negara Malaysia dan juga pemasdaun tetap adalah layak dan wajib didaftarkan. Okay, that is under Malaysia punya undang-undang lah. Okay, and then pekerja mestilah diambil bekerja oleh majikan di bawah satu kontrak perkhidmatan atau perantisan. Is either by lisan ataupun bertulis. So verbally ataupun written lah. So kita cover these three sector. So ada sektor swasta, badan berkanun dan juga kaki tangan kerajaan, tapi only for contract and sementara. So kalau permanent kaki tangan kerajaan, so tak ada kena bayar SOCSO lah. Okay, so kadar caruman maksimum adalah berdasarkan had ceiling gaji yang diinsurankan, iaitu RM4,000 sebulan. So kalau kata gaji bawah memang wajib kenalah, maksimum RM4,000 memang mesti kena, tapi kita tak, maksudnya bayaran dia sampai untuk RM4,000, so lebih tu still akan bayar sama macam RM4,000 jugalah. Tapi semua kita akan wajibkan untuk berdaftar. Okay. So siapa yang dikecualikan? Okay, so macam tadi saya ada bagi tahu yang kita bagi exception, tak payah bayar SOCSO. Okay, tak payah bayar caruman. First is the kaki tangan kerajaan yang bertaraf tetap. Okay, dah permanent, you government servant, so no need to pay. Okay, sebab dah ada dah ada coverage daripada government lah. Okay, and then second is perkhidmat rumah tangga. Okay, third is bekerja sendiri except for this 19 lah, this 19 sector. So which means that sekarang ni kita dah cover this 19 sector. So dah tak dikecualikan dah. Okay, so this 19 sector nanti boleh check dekat laman web Perkeso. Okay, just type je Perkeso, so nanti boleh masuk, so boleh check lah. Okay, kalau termasuk pekerjaan tu contohlah pertanian kan, so sekarang ni kita dah still cover lah. Okay, so yang satu lagi kita kecualikan adalah pemilik tunggal atau perkongsian suatu perusahaan. Okay. Okay, so kita pergi kepada faedah dan pelindungan Akta Keselamatan Sosial 1969. Okay, so kita ada, hari ni saya akan tekankan dua skim ni lah. Okay, iaitu pertama, skim bencana pekerjaan. Okay, yang kedua adalah skim pencen ilat. Okay, so apa tu skim bencana pekerjaan? Apa tu skim pencen ilat? Okay, sebelum saya go details tu, saya akan bagi tahu dulu, kalau kita tengok dekat sini ada beberapa list kan, faedah yang boleh dapat under skim tu. Okay, so kita ada faedah perubatan, faedah hilang upaya sementara, faedah hilang upaya kekal, elang layanan sentiasa, faedah orang tanggungan, faedah pengurusan mayat, faedah pemulihan, faedah pinjaman pendidikan dan juga return to work. So this one is under skim bencana pekerjaan. Okay, so kalau pergi dekat skim pencen ilat, kita ada pencen ilat, bantuan ilat, elang layanan sentiasa, pencen penakat, faedah pengurusan mayat, faedah pemulihan, faedah pinjaman pendidikan dan juga return to work. So nampak macam banyak kan? So sebab dia akan cover a lot. So contoh untuk pencana pekerjaan ni, let's say you pergi bekerja, okay, and then you ada kecederaan semasa bekerja. Okay, dan memerlukan contoh rawatan perubatan. Okay, so kalau kita check eligibility, kelayakan, cukup caruman semua dan layak untuk ambil faedah perubatan under skim bencana pekerjaan, so you layak untuk claim. So tapi kita kena check lah kelayakan dia macam mana. Okay, so hari ni untuk dua-dua skim ni saya akan fokus kepada faedah pemulihan sahaja. Okay, related kepada aphasia, so iaitu faedah pemulihan untuk speech therapy. Okay, so sikit lagi untuk under faedah ni. Okay, so skim insurans bencana pekerjaan. So kita ada 8 ni lah tadi. Faedah perubatan, hilang upaya sementara, hilang upaya kekal. Okay, seperti yang saya sebutkan tadi lah. Okay, so kenapa ada faedah pendidikan juga kat sini? So sometimes orang cakapkan kenapa ada pendidikan? So kalau dah bekerja mungkin tak belajar kan, sudah habis belajar. So faedah pendidikan ni sebab tadi kita kata sok-sok akan cover untuk pekerja dan juga tanggungan. So mungkin kita ada tanggungan iaitu anak-anak ke kan. Okay, so mengikut kelayakan, kalau ada anak yang masih belajar dan layak, so kita akan cover untuk pendidikan. Tapi ada syarat-syarat dia. Okay, syarat-syarat dia saya tak akan go through lah. Sebab yang itu nanti kita akan ada the next session punya talk next week. So yang tu akan lagi cover details. Okay. Okay, so untuk skim pencen ilat, so kita ada 7 ni juga. Okay, so ada yang sama macam skim bencana pekerjaan, ada yang tak sama lah. So dia bergantung dekat situ skim mana. Okay, so kita akan pergi kepada kemudahan pemulihan jasmani atau vocational. Okay. So dekat sini apa itu kemudahan pemulihan jasmani? Okay, so kita akan tengoklah pemulihan jasmani, kita akan termasuk iaitu servis-servis yang diberikan untuk physical rehabilitation. Okay, so yang pertama sebab I focus on speech therapy, so I letak first lah terapi pertuturan. Tapi untuk yang normally people we know is under physiotherapy kan, ada cara kerja, ada juga untuk reconstructive operation, and then pembekalan barang, contoh macam kaki palsu, tangan palsu. Okay, and untuk speech kita ada alatan pemulihan pertuturan lah, contoh macam electrolarynx ataupun voice prosthesis. Okay, dan lain-lain juga alat macam ortopedik, contoh wheelchair, katil, cermin mata khas, alat pendengaran. Okey, yang tu pun juga kita ada dalam pemulihan jasmani. Okay, so pemulihan vocational. I think maybe ada orang boleh boleh tahu apa tu vocational, ada orang tak tahu. Okay, so vocational ni kita try untuk latih semula dalam bidang-bidang kemahiran. So seperti electrical, jahitan, and then membaiki radio ataupun TV, typing, contoh untuk nak get back to kerja yang memerlukan typing kan, dan juga lain-lain lah. Okay, semua perbelanjaan untuk kemudahan pemulihan yang you dapat, especially kalau you masuk dekat pusat rehabilitasi Pekiso, akan ditanggung oleh Pekiso. Okay, tapi mengikut kepada kadar dan syarat-syarat yang kita dah tetapkan. Okay, so physical wise maksudnya any therapy yang related to physical kita akan cover. And then kalau vocational, let's say you nak kembali bekerja dan memerlukan skill-skill tertentu, okay, so kita akan cover juga. Dan kita ada beberapa modules lah yang kita akan suggest dan juga kita akan cadangkan dan juga kita akan bagi latihan lah untuk you lagi ready untuk kembali bekerja. Okay. Okay, so untuk yang tadi under skim insurans bencana pekerjaan. Okay, tapi kalau daripada side kemudahan pemulihan jasmani atau vocational, untuk skim pencen ilat sama sahaja macam yang tadi, cuma dia ada tambahan kemudahan dialisis. Sebab kita tahu kalau untuk dialisis dia memerlukan rawatan yang kerap dan memerlukan rawatan yang agak kos tinggi lah. So that's why under skim pencen ilat ni kita bantu seberapa boleh untuk kemudahan dialisis bagi OB ni, maksudnya pesakit lah. Kalau under SOPSO usually kita cakap OB adalah orang berinsurans. So that's why we call OB ataupun patient. Okay, so siapa-siapa yang mempunyai sakit buah pinggang yang kronik, so kita ada bagi kemudahan dialisis under skim pencen ilat. Okay, so dia termasuk juga yang ni lah yang ada 5 kat sini. Okay, contoh macam CAPD, EPO, okay. Boleh ke semua ataupun saya laju sangat? Is it okay?
Yeah, I think so far so good.
Okay, so we go next. Okay, so tadi part Pekiso. So saya memang touch very surface sahaja sebab kita nak bagi pengenalan dan juga untuk everyone knows lah kenapa ada ni pusat rehabilitasi Pekiso ni. Sebab kita nak kalau boleh semua yang mencarum tu dapat benefits yang daripada caruman dia bagi. And then kita nak tahu, kita nak juga everyone yang dah mencarum tu, let's say they have like accidents ke, they have like kena stroke. So sometimes tak boleh nak pergi because of kekangan kewangan lah. Tak boleh nak pergi terapi, tak boleh nak pergi dapatkan rawatan. So with the benefit, with the caruman yang dia bayar, so kita bagi benefit semula. Okay. So now focus to my bidang lah, my patient. So that is the rehabilitation for speech therapy. Okay. So macam mana orang akan tanya, mesti yang pertama soalan, macam mana nak masuk sini kan? Sudah 2014, mesti ada orang yang tahu, ada yang pernah masuk, tapi ramai juga yang tak tahu macam nak masuk kat sini. Okay, so untuk orang berinsurans iaitu pekerja tu sendirilah ataupun patient. Okay, let's say you dah tahu, contoh seorang pekerja, let's say dia kena stroke. Okay, selepas kena stroke and then dia tak boleh nak bercakap. Okay, tak boleh nak bercakap and then dia memerlukan speech therapy dan mungkin rawatan daripada hospital, contoh hospital government yang dia pergi, tak boleh bagikan sesi yang lagi kerap. Okay, so dia nak check sama ada boleh tak dia nak pergi ke pusat rehabilitasi Pekiso untuk dapatkan speech therapy dekat pusat rehabilitasi Pekiso. Okay, so apa yang diperlukan adalah rujukan daripada pihak hospital. Okay, so rujukan daripada pihak hospital, usually kita akan minta untuk beri, dia sama ada rujukan daripada pihak hospital, maksudnya dia akan ada surat referral lah, surat rujukan daripada hospital tu sendiri. Okay, sama ada daripada speech therapy, daripada doktor, okay, yang treating doctors kan. Okay, ataupun boleh juga patient tu ataupun orang berinsurans buat rujukan sendiri dengan pergi ke pejabat Pekiso negeri. Tapi jangan pergi kosong, jangan bawa diri je. Okay. So kalau bawa diri nanti apa tu, kita punya staff dekat pejabat perkis tu tak tahu nak buat macam mana. Okay. So bila nak cakap nak minta rujukan tu, so kalau boleh kena bawa documents lah. So dokumen apa yang penting sama juga, iaitu memo daripada doktor. So maksudnya kita tahulah kenapa orang ni perlukan kita punya rehabilitasi itu, kenapa perlukan treatment daripada kita. Okay. So yang tu dia akan check lah semua kelayakan. Okay. So bila dia dah ada details, dia dah ada memo daripada doktor, so lepas tu dia dah check semua kelayakan. Okay, so kelayakan macam mana nak tahu, yang tu nanti akan bring forward next week. Okay, tapi yang paling senang kita nak tahu adalah kalau sekurang-kurangnya kita mencarum untuk 12 bulan. So 12 bulan tu pun dah melayakkan untuk dapat this one lah, faedah pemulihan. Tapi faedah yang lain belum tentu lagi. Okay, tapi yang ni I can say that okay, insyaAllah boleh dapat lah. Okay, and then lepas dah masuk dekat sini, kita akan ada setiap patient ataupun setiap orang perinsurans yang dah masuk untuk mendapatkan rawatan di pusat rehabilitasi Pegeso akan diuruskan oleh pengurus kes. Okay, so pengurus kes ni adalah adalah orang yang bertanggungjawab untuk menguruskan kes rujukan yang dirujuk ke pusat rehabilitasi Pegeso ini. Okay, so maksudnya setiap satu OB akan ada satu pengurus kes. So setiap satu orang insurans ada satu pengurus kes. So anything dia nak tanya, anything yang dia nak liaise, boleh liaise dengan pengurus kes. Dan pengurus kes juga akan liaise dengan terapis dan juga liaise dengan doctors. So dia ada communication dekat situ. So sometimes ialah macam dah masuk dekat sini, sometimes tak tahu nak communicate dengan doktor luar macam mana kan. So don't worry, pengurus kes akan ada. Okay, so lepas daripada pengurus kes, let's say pengurus kes buat rujukan pergi kepada speech therapist. Okay, so speech therapist akan memberikan rawatan pemulihan yang sesuai lah. And also kalau let's say dah dapatkan rawatan dekat sini, and then let's say memerlukan rawatan lanjut dekat luar, so terapis akan buat pengusyuran. Okay, dia akan buat surat referral jugalah. Dan kalau ada perbincangan yang diperlukan, so kita akan buat juga perbincangan tu. Okay, so that's how the rujukan lah dekat sini. Okay, so we go for aphasia pula. So rehabilitation untuk aphasia from the point of view of pusat rehabilitasi Pegeso. Okay, so for the rehabilitation side, kita try untuk fokus kepada matlamat orang berinsurans semasa kemasukan itu. So dia biasanya akan ada dua lah aims dia nak masuk sini, sama ada untuk nak improvekan daripada segi ADL, activities of daily living, okay, ataupun untuk kembali bekerja, return to work. Okay, so sama ada dua ni lah. Okay, so apa tu ADL? Apa tu activities of daily living? So program yang kita rangka untuk ADL memerlukan proses pemulihan untuk bantu semula OB, orang berinsurans, kembali berdikari untuk berkomunikasi dan juga untuk bertutur lebih baik selepas kecederaan yang dihadapi. So tak kisahlah kecederaan apa-apa, kalau related kepada speech therapy punya services, so kita akan bantu semula. So sekurang-kurangnya dia dapat kembali berkomunikasi dengan ahli keluarga, dengan kawan-kawan, dengan contoh dengan orang sekeliling kan, dan juga kalau let's say dia ada speech punya problems, so kita bantu supaya at least speech dia bertambah baik dan juga dapat berdikari sedikit. Walaupun mungkin ada yang tak dapat berdikari sepenuhnya, tapi sekurang-kurangnya untuk komunikasi maybe dia boleh berdikari sedikit lah, dan kurang bantuan yang diperlukan daripada ahli keluarga. Okay, so apa pula return to work, kembali bekerja. Okay, program ini kita tekankan untuk persediaan orang berinsurans untuk kembali bekerja semula selepas kecederaan, tapi bersesuaian dengan tahap optimum yang dia boleh dicapai dengan pemulihan yang didapat di pusat rehabilitasi Pegeso. Okay, sebab kita tahu contoh-contoh orang berinsurans mengalami kecederaan semasa bekerja katakan, okey, dan semasa bekerja itu contoh dia pengsan dan selepas tu dia ada stroke tapi very mild stroke, okey, cuma mungkin daripada segi pemulihan pertuturan tu yang tu dia perlukan intensif. So masih lagi boleh bercakap tapi sebutan tu dah lari sikit kan, and then dia nak kembali bekerja, contohnya dia bekerja sebagai salesman, so dia dah kena cakap dengan orang, so kita nak bantu semula, so kita akan nilai semula tahap dia sekarang macam mana, and then kita akan go through intensif punya rehabilitasi with speech therapy untuk improvekan supaya dia boleh kembali bekerja semula sebagai salesman. Ataupun kalau tahap optimum dia contoh dia very mild stroke, dia boleh kembali bekerja yang sama. Tapi kalau contoh moderate ataupun severe stroke and then aphasia dia sangat teruk, so kita try ke tahap mana yang dia mampu lah waktu tu. Okay, dan usually kita punya length of stay dekat sini sebab kita ada hostel dan juga kita ada ward. So patient ataupun orang berinsurans akan datang kat sini, so dia ada kena stay kat sini lah. So maksudnya nak pergi kelas, nak pergi all the therapy punya session, tak ada masalah. All within walking distance sahaja. And then akan ada social integration lah dengan patient-patient yang lain juga. So they can get intensive punya terapi because they stay here. So tak perlu ada travelling punya cost lah. So dah save banyak dekat situ dan juga dapat intensif punya session compare tu kalau dekat luar lah yang kena bayar sendiri kan. Okay. So next, apa itu aphasia rehabilitation? So kita ada dua goals tadi macam saya cakap adalah untuk ADL satu dan juga untuk return to work RTW. So kita tengok satu-satu ya. So untuk ADL, okay, yang ni yang kita very specifickan under speech lah. Okay, first kita akan kata in terms of understanding, nak improvekan understanding and also comprehension skills. Because as you know, bila macam tadi Raymond dah sebut daripada awal, kalau aphasia ni kita akan ada problems in terms of understanding, in terms of speaking kan. So kita nak improvekan daripada segi comprehension skills so that kita boleh preserve daily communication. Kalau tak boleh complex, we do basic punya. Okay, and then untuk increase independency, sebab you as an adult usually kita nak buat semua sendiri kan, tapi kalau ada understanding punya problems, definitely you akan perlukan pertolongan daripada family members. So at least kalau kita improvekan understanding, so ada independency dekat situ. And also untuk reduce frustration. Okay, as an adult, we communicate mostly through verbal. So kita akan keluarkan anything yang kita nak cakap, whatever the ones that need, semua benda yang kita nak, kita akan expresskan. But then when you have difficulty untuk faham orang, so you whatever yang come out tu something yang orang pun tak faham. So dia like macam ayam dengan itik cakap tak faham dua-dua. So both side akan ada frustration kan. Okay, so kita try untuk help kat situ. Okay, and then for cognitive skills. Okay, so cognitive skill for aphasia usually even though intelligence tak ada affected, but sometimes brain activities akan ada reduce because you dah start confused a lot and then you dah start having trouble to thinking straight, nak construct the words and sentences. So we try to do more programs on increasing the brain activities. Okay, so ada task-task yang you kena buat lah. That's what we call cognitive lah. Okay, and then this one is also to boost the rehabilitation process. Because usually bila brain activities dah kurang, so rehabilitation process pun akan very low. So dia akan slow. So kita nak cepatkan sikit. So that's why we do more activities untuk stimulate brain activities. Okay, and also this one penting untuk improve readiness nak masuk kerja. Kalau still intact lagi skill-skill yang lain lah. Sebab cognitive skill waktu bekerja sangat penting. Contohnya untuk problem solving kan, benda-benda macam tu kena cepat. So that's why we focus on cognitive skills also lah. Okay, and then communication skills. This one usually kalau we can from the experience kan, let's say from family members also boleh, I think can agree with me. Whenever like patient ada aphasia, they tend to withdraw from social punya gathering, social punya interactions because of their difficulty to produce words ataupun difficulty to answer to other people's. So this one kita tak nak. So that's why kita nak kurangkan withdrawal and also isolation. So tak nak other people to isolate them and also tak nak patient to withdraw sendiri daripada aktiviti yang kena bercakap. And also kita juga ada buat programs untuk fokus on augmentative and alternative communications. So for the one yang ada moderate or severe aphasia, maybe we can use like other methods to communicate. Contoh by using apps in the phone, ataupun we can use like picture cards. Okay, that one we call as an augmentative and alternative communications lah. Okay, and also we focus on ADL also for caregiver training, because not all have the experience to handle people with aphasia. Kan, so sometimes maybe that's the first time the husband kena stroke and then suddenly kena aphasia. So the wife doesn't know how to communicate with the husband. So that's why we give caregiver training in order to improve the family dynamic, so that tak ada the miscommunication tu boleh kurang, tak ada gaduh-gaduh dalam family kan, everyone can be boleh sama-sama saling faham memahami, and also untuk training of awareness and education. Okay, so that is for the ADL goals. Okay, so now we go for RTW. Okay, for RTW goals, so first is to create mutual understanding, because kita kata RTW definitely ada employer and employee. So employer sometimes sama macam caregiver, tak faham apa jadi dekat patient tu kan. So that's why we do mutual understanding between employer and employee. Okay, so that we can reduce expectation. Let's say kalau terlalu high expectation from the employer, nak patient masuk kerja sebulan lepas stroke, definitely cannot kan. So kita tahu ada reduce in physical ability and also dia punya cognitive ability. And also kita nak tentukan when there is understanding, kita nak tentukan target destination, whether he can go back to the same job ataupun tak. Sebab sometimes lepas aphasia ni we never know. Ada yang boleh kembali bekerja semula, position yang sama, ada yang tak boleh. Okay, and then we also train for literacy skills and other skills. This one also sebab kita nak preserve dia punya job task yang sebelum tu, and also untuk retain independency, so that dia tak perlu susahkan colleague, ataupun colleague tak ada bagi komplain lah, why do I have to work tapi I kena kerja, I kena tolong juga patient ni kan. So kita that's why kita retain jugalah untuk literacy skills and other skills. Okay, and then kita ada juga workplace assessment. Okay, this one penting sebab kita nak tahu whether the workplace is actually supportive for patient untuk kembali bekerja. Maybe we think that lepas kita pergi dekat tempat kerja tu kita rasa oh tak sesuai, maybe he needs to change to another department ke or another unit ke yang lagi sesuai dengan job task yang dia boleh buat sekarang. So this is also untuk maintain social interactions lah between colleagues, and also sometimes bila colleague dah tahu let's say patient ni okay dia dah lepas stroke kan, definitely tak boleh buat banyak kerja, so nanti dia akan discriminate. So whatever kerja yang patient buat walaupun bagus, tapi because you see that dia slow sikit buat ke apa kan, ada discrimination dekat colleague. So kita tak nak benda macam tu. So kita nak juga improve the suitability untuk return to work. So sama ada perlukan pertukaran job task ke ataupun tidak. So masih boleh retain ataupun tidak. And also the last one is social integration. So that's why untuk workplace dynamic lah, so that tak ada issue between colleagues and then between employer and employee, and also untuk increasekan confidence juga kepada kita punya patient. So patient tak ada rasa macam ada beza selepas dan sebelum kena stroke. So that masuk kerja masih lagi orang yang sama, masih lagi confident nak buat kerja dia. Okay, so these are the rehabilitation programs yang kita ada. So we have individual session. This is one-to-one. So kita ada, we can go to 2 to 5 session in a week. So maksudnya daripada Isnin kepada Jumaat tu, kalau perlukan 5 hari, kita bagi 5 hari. This is how intensif lah untuk individual. And then we have groupings. So grouping, we group together with more or less the same diagnosis and the same skills that they have during that time. And then it can goes from 2 people to 10 people. Okay, this one also we try to do kerap lah 2 or 3 times in a week. Okay. And then we have a special program, Let's Communicate program. This one is like a simulation. So we have a few, like here, we have like kedai, macam like, some sort of like mart here yang dia boleh beli kan, boleh beli barang. So patient yang ada communication problems and they have to use like cards, communication cards. So usually we'll bring them to the mart and then we train them on how to use the communication cards in order to buy things that they want for themselves. So that's how we try to stimulate the real experience that they gonna face dekat luar lah nanti. And also we try to do outside punya training. Let's say nak bawa pergi mana-mana pun nanti kita ada set lah so that they can communicate better and also be confident with their communication skills yang ada. Okay. And then we have Speak, Communicate and Eat program. This one you can see that macam banyaknya Speak, Communicate, Eat kan. This one sebenarnya kita kumpul semua. All the patients and all the caregivers, we do like a support group program so that everyone have a sharing sessions and then everyone like macam boleh share what they learn from the therapies and also share their experience in handling people with aphasia or people with other difficulties yang go through speech therapy services here lah. So that's why we say focus more on awareness and education. And also we have healthy cooking. So healthy cooking, we collaborate with dietitian. So our dietitian here and also our chef. So because patients stay here kan, so makanan kita akan bagi. So kita ada chef. So we have chef. So we do healthy cooking demonstration. So sometimes kita akan include juga communication with the patients and also kita akan sharing about so contoh like texture modification, so more to awareness education also. Okay. So these are some of the sharings of the pictures lah. Like this one is the activity grouping. Okay, now they have like macam this one kena ada presentation. So in a group, okay, group of 2, so they have to present. Okay, so testing on their speaking skills. Kan. Okay, and then ni activity jual beli. So this one dekat dalam therapy room dulu. Okay, and then we go to the mat. This one the one yang I say. So once dah confident dekat dalam therapy session, then we go to like kind of like real world lah kan. Macam mana nak beli kalau pakai cards and all. Okay, so ni therapist akan guide lah macam mana. Okay. So this one is the Speak, Communicate and Eat program. So nampak ramai kan, sebab kita campur semua. All the speech patient yang ada aphasia, yang tak ada aphasia, caregiver, so kita campur. So that everyone ada support group and also everyone can understand each other punya conditions better. Okay. This one is the healthy cooking. We try to do it dekat open space lah. So these are the dekat belakang tak adalah eating area lah for the patients. So memang boleh ramai dekat situ. Our maximum capacity is 350 patients at one time. So memang akan ramai. So as you can see that boleh ada social integration kan. Okay, so I think this is my last 2 slides. Okay, so okay, what are the tips? Saya nak share tips sahaja, communication tips for people with aphasia. First, never stop. Never stop apa? Talking, chit-chatting, telling stories. Even though you have difficulty, never stop. Cakap je. Berapa banyak yang boleh keluar, cakap je, keluarkan sahaja. Okay, hands on the brake. Kena tekan selalu brake. Kenapa? Kalau you dah ada aphasia, sometimes you akan processing terlambat sikit. So jangan laju. Jangan cepat-cepat. Slow sahaja. Make sure the process is step by step. Tak nak skip step dia. Okay, one by one, satu-satu, one word at a time. Lepas satu perkataan, go to another. Okay, nothing is wrong with mistake. Everyone makes mistake, even for people yang tak ada aphasia pun buat mistake in terms of speech. So nothing's wrong with mistake. Treat it as something yang normal, something yang you usually do, okay? Ataupun you nak gelakkan diri sendiri pun tak apa. Tersalah pula. It's okay. So just celebrate whatever achievement yang you ada, okay? So focus on the intact skills. So kemahiran yang still ada. Contoh you masih boleh menulis, teruskan menulis. Use that menulis sebagai latihan untuk after you write, you fokus untuk cakap pula. Kan? Contoh you tulis perkataan apa yang you ingat, you try untuk baca, cakap keluarkan. Okay, so use the one yang you ada as a stepping stone. Okay, and then refer to the expert. Okay, whatever treatment yang you rasa, contoh you tengok YouTube, you nak try, ataupun kawan cerita dia, you nak try. Okay, refer kepada expert dulu. Siapa expert? So healthcare lah. Sama ada you punya terapis ke, you punya doctors ke. Don't simply pandai-pandai buat. Kan, sometimes ada orang suggest pergi urut-urut lidah, nanti lagi cakap banyak. Kan, so sometimes boleh make more harm. Okay, so kena refer balik. Sesuai tak? Mungkin sesuai to that patient tapi tak sesuai untuk you. So kena refer to the experts. Okay, so this a few tips lagi lah. Okay, attention. So attention maksudnya bila you nak cakap, give full attention to the conversation that you are in. Okay, apa yang you nak cakap, give full attention to the one yang cakap dengan you dan apa yang you nak sampaikan. Okay, jangan fikir benda lain. Okay, try to reduce noise. Kalau tempat tu terlalu bising and then you cannot focus, lari daripada tempat tu. Okay, let's say kalau you dekat rumah, you nak fokus cakap dengan wife, tak boleh sebab ada bunyi bising TV ataupun radio, off dulu. Baru you try untuk cakap. Okay, and then try to use normal rate. So maksudnya kawan-kawan kena pakai normal rate. Kalau jumpa kawan-kawan yang ada aphasia, guna normal rate je. Jangan slowkan sangat, jangan terlalu cepat kan. Cakap macam biasa, tapi kita try untuk bagi masa kepada kawan untuk respon. Okay, so boleh guna yes or no. So kalau dia tak boleh faham, kita guna soalan ya atau tidak, ataupun kita bagi pilihan jawapan. That one akan lagi membantulah. Okay, dan juga kita boleh simplifikan apa yang kita nak cakap. Jangan cakap melerit panjang-panjang kan. So kita simplekan sentence-sentence yang kita nak guna. Shortcut je. Okay, and then use variety of communication methods. Kawan tak faham cakap, mungkin boleh minta dia tulis atas kertas. Kawan tak faham nak cakap tapi dia boleh type message dalam handphone, so boleh guna dalam handphone. Don't limit to, kita cakap kita nak orang tu reply cakap balik. So don't limit kan, sebab in daily activity sometimes kita akan menulis, sometimes kita akan typing kan, sometimes kita akan guna pictures. So all of that is communication punya methods. Okay, so this is the reference yang boleh go through. One is Pekeso punya website and the other one Rehab Malaysia is our pusat rehabilitasi Pekeso lah. Okay, so boleh share, boleh go through pictures dalam tu, FB pun boleh. Okay. Okay, with that, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Miss Afika, for your very impressive sharing and also very overwhelming to me. I think I used to be a Pekeso contributor, but I didn't know we have such a lot of benefits that we can get from Pekeso. Very, very eye-opening, and also probably as a reminders for most of our Pekeso contributors, so that they should know they have support,
Yes.
in this society. So don't feel alone.
Right? Yeah, you're not alone.
Yes, correct. So now we are going to have a Q&A session right now. So if you have any questions, so you can write down your question in the comment box here. So our speaker will try to answer you as best as she can. So okay, right now I don't see any question yet, but we have a question actually from our online aphasia group member that this aphasia survivor used to be a Pekeso contributor for more than 5 years. Then, so after that, he stopped contributing because he set up his own company.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a stroke lately. But and then he was told that his Pekeso account is still active. So is he still eligible to apply for the Pekeso subsidiaries for his rehabilitation?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yes. Okay. So untuk senanglah cakap kan, first is yes lah. Okay.
Good.
Because why? Sebab usually kalau kita nak tahu sama ada you are eligible, this one yang kalau kita cakap for pemulihan sahaja. Okay.
Yeah.
So pemulihan sahaja is that you can go for pusat rehabilitasi Pekeso lah to get your treatment because you have stroke kan. Definitely you need physiotherapist, you need OT, you need speech. Okay. So this one because you already contribute for more than 12 months. Okay, so untuk eligible, you have to contribute more than 12 months, then you are eligible for at least for pemulihan lah. Okay, so that's why they say that your punya Pekeso account is still active. So maksudnya still kita cover walaupun lepas tu let's say 5 years you dah tak contribute kan, tapi you dah contribute more than 12 months dah. So that's why still cover. And then kalau you nak double check for the other benefits that you can get, so that one have to refer to pejabat Pekeso negeri. Let's say kalau nak tahu more on the not for pemulihan lah, what are the other coverage yang you boleh dapat from Pekeso kan, so that one kena go through pejabat Pekeso negeri. But for coming here to pusat rehabilitasi Pekeso, I can strictly say yes, sebab you dah contribute more than 12 months. That one is the basic punya syarat lah. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So add on to that, so do they have to go to Pusat Rehabilitasi Pekeso? I mean, if let's say they have some logistic issues, so do they have
Mm-hmm.
to go to Pekeso Rehabilitation for the therapy session in order to get the subsidiary, or not necessary, or how?
Okay, I think early during the early years yang kita baru run, we try to focus more on masukkan dekat sini lah. But now because you're already 7 years, so we have a lot of strategic collaboration, and we have also the list of panels lah. Okay, let's say kalau you are in a specific area and then you are already eligible for pemulihan to get the therapy treatments, and maybe but then because of the logistic issue kan, and then usually they will suggest lah, if we have any panel, then you can go to the panel to get the services. But then panel tu I think you have to double check lah, which center yang dah register under Pekeso to give the services lah for rehabilitation. Tapi if you are willing, let's say, to come for 1 to 3 months kan, to get like very intensive rehabilitation with all expenses paid by Pekeso, you can come here. So that because lagi senang lah. Usually is because we already provide the accommodation to stay in and also makan 3 to 4 times daily, kan, cukup makan semua. Ada banyak-banyak menu lagi kita bagi, and then you don't have to think about nak stay kat mana kan. So you can come here, and then now we already have a few branches juga, not in Melaka only lah. So we have a few in KL area. So we have Quill City Mall, we have Ara Damansara also, and then we have in Pusat in Kuala Terengganu, and Kuala Terengganu, and also in JB, Fitport JB. So ada a few dah. So I mean kalau tak boleh kan, then we can suggest lah which one yang suitable nak pergi dekat mana.
So we can check the branches list in the website, right?
Yes, betul. You can go through the rehabmalaysia.com tu. That one is for pusat rehabilitasi, and then you can see lah which branches yang kita ada kat dalam tu, satellite. So then you can check out dekat situ.
Okay, good to know. I think it can give a lot of hopes to our aphasia survivors. You know, they can get a very intensive therapy, especially they just got it right. And then, for those who didn't know about this, I think still not late yet. So, I think Yeah.
we try to cover all the social contributors lah, and now we already expanded the services to private payer also, so non-contributors. But I think for the social contributors, if you feel that you need the services from let's say from therapy side, rehabilitation side. So and then you already check your eligibility. Do come. I think it's better to come to us, and then let us serve your contributions lah.
Mm.
Kan, because usually I think a lot of issues sebelum ni yang kata oh kita bayar so tapi tak tahu dapat apa kan, so
Yes.
these are the benefits that you get, and then ada juga some of other contributions yang you boleh dapat. So that's
Mm.
why I think it's a good it's a good what do you call it, satu cara yang bagus untuk show that these are the contributions that you already made, so we pay back to you kan.
Mm. Okay.
And then you know that okay, it's not just like macam company tolak sahaja kan, tolak sahaja
Mm.
bayar sok-sok
Yep.
tu.
Yep.
So make sure you use it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. All right. And then another thing I quite interested to note about the what you share about mutual understanding between the employer and the probably the patients
Employee,
and so on.
yeah.
Yeah, and the
Mm-hmm.
employee.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I think this is very important for
Mm.
patients, especially they're keen to go back to work.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they're not to think about that just yet because you know
Mm.
probably it needs a lot of time for them, you know, to recover and then to accept their conditions, things like that. So you know, like going back to work, probably you know to some patient probably it's just a it's a far dream, you know, at this
Yeah.
moment. But I
Mm-hmm.
think there are things we still can do. Like what you all did, I think is very good that you build up the mutual understanding with the employer
Mm-hmm.
to seek the possibilities for the patients.
Yeah.
So would you mind sharing like more about like this how you all build up the relationship with the employer?
Mm-hmm. Okay, sometimes we do have like referral from the company itself.
Yeah.
Let's say like we have like factory workers that have like a let's say lah macam back pain kan, because of their job scope is like macam maybe kena standing more than 8 hours and all kan. So
Mm.
sometimes maybe the pain is actually very excruciating, and also the rehabilitation process is quite a long journey for the patients. But then to the employer, maybe they think that oh lah sakit belakang biasa saja kan. So that's why we need the mutual understanding through the therapist and also through the treating doctors itself. Usually the communication is between the employer and employees sahaja. So like the employee said, okay, let's say boss, I sakit belakang kan. But then the
Mm.
employee said, okay, just sakit belakang je. But they don't know how the extent of kecederaan tu. So that's why we need like doctors or the therapists, physiotherapists, and then we sit together, and then the pengurus case also comes in to actually try to make the employer understand what is the employees is having now. So what is the employee's current condition, and why let's say like the patients need uh, a bit of time to have rehabilitation process in order to get back to his old job. Sometimes that one yang understanding tu I think is because the communication tu is just solely between employer and employee, not from the side yang boleh fahamkan those
Yeah.
two ni lah, two parts lah kan. So in order to connect them, I think that's why Pekeso jumps in, and then with the we have like a discussion and meetings between employer and employee, and also the treating team lah, treating teams. So the doctors, the therapists. So all of this information can relay more information to the employer, and also make them more understanding of the employees'
Mm.
problems lah. Mm.
So what are the solutions normally employer or what are the solutions that you use to provide the patients? Like
Uh,
for example, like yeah.
Usually we try to like macam negotiate on how the duration to return to work. Let's say we try to like after 1 month, let's say we give like 1 month duration for rehabilitation process, and then after 1 month we try to get back to employer to say that okay, these are our findings, and then based on the findings and assessment we say that okay, the patient needs more time for rehabilitation. Let's say we give a duration of 1 or 2 months. So that is how we try to negotiate on the return to work process lah. Because sometimes I think there's a bit of missing pieces of information that sometimes employee think that okay, they already gone through rehabilitation process for 1 month, so that's it lah, should be dah okay dah kan. Tapi like for let's say aphasia, they takes more time than other physical disabilities, right? Depends on the severity. So that's why we
Yes.
try to convey the patient's progress in order that will favor to the employees lah, but also not to macam kurangkan, let's say like tak nak rugikan kepada employer also, but then we try to get a mutual agreement lah. Let's say we nego on the duration of rehabilitation, or maybe we try to nego on the job list, the task list that they need to do
Mm,
when return to work, so
mm,
something like that lah.
mm.
So that tak ada yang macam feels that they are on the apa tu, side yang rugi kan.
Yes,
Everyone
yes.
akan ada balik benefit from there.
Yeah, at least we work on the whatever possibilities, that we can work towards. I think this is
Yeah.
very important, instead of
Mm-hmm.
we just give up, without exploring more, yeah.
Options, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, very interesting. uh I think that's it's almost time for our sharing today. And so we really thank you, Miss Afika, for sharing us this very important, very useful information on Picasso, how Picasso can support aphasia survivors throughout their recovery journey. And like what Mr. Fika just now had reviewed, that we are going to have another session. We're going to have speakers from Picasso Rehabilitation Department again, and then to talk about benefits and services of Picasso Rehabilitation Department in general. So please stay tuned with us for more detailed benefits and also services provided by, supported by Picasso. So it's going to be the same time and Tuesday as well. We're going to put out our poster soon. So please stay tuned with us. And then thank you so much, Miss Africa. Thank you once again.
Welcome, Raymond.
Yeah, for spending time with us. And should you have any more question, probably this information is very, eye-opening and very brain-blowing, at least to me. So if should you have any questions after this, so please put up here in our comment box. So we try our best to respond to you after this. So then I will see y'all again next week. So thank you so much and see y'all again. Have a nice Tuesday and see you again. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right.